Good morning, good afternoon, from whichever part of the world you are joining us from. We're coming together to share our wisdom with the world on leadership and how to grow to become great leaders.
My thoughts from this part of the world, how to encourage people in your part of the world to grow, to become great leaders, and finally become legend in this lifetime. That together we can change the way leadership looks at itself today and how they will look at themselves in the coming days, and together being part of the leadership programs from John Maxwell and other great leaders. We have so much to offer.
So join the conversation live on East Meets West on Leadership Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube channels, and learn about intelligent leadership for today and tomorrow's leaders.
And looking forward to have you on the first Thursday, that is 23rd of September, 10 p.m. India time and
12:30 p.m. Guyana time. See you next week. So, welcome everyone. East meets West on leadership. So thank you for joining, those who are joining on Facebook, those who are joining on YouTube from India, Guyana, and all the in-between countries. Welcome. And today we're talking on leadership. John Maxwell said, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. We do believe that there is a leadership deficit in the world, and we would like to share experiences. So with me, I have Coach Harish, and all the way from India. So excited and an abundant mindset person that wants to give and keep giving. So I'm going to invite Coach Harish to the screen, and welcome Coach Harish. Today, as we talk about leadership, I'm going to ask you if you'd like to say anything before I ask you the first question, or before we go into talking more on leadership. Would you like to add something right now?
Shanti, I am blessed to speak with you today. It's 10 o'clock India night and it's 12:30 afternoon Guyana. I was just thinking today evening how close we have come in the last 18 months. How fast the world has moved, as if we have captured 20 years in 20 months. We could never imagine that I'll be speaking to people around the globe 24/7, all 24 hours of the day. And I'm so blessed to have met you. And now we are on a journey to share care, listen and learn, and teach people how to grow themselves to become leaders, great leaders, and finally legends. So great opportunity for me to share with you what is happening around this part of the world and learn from you what is happening in your part of the world. And remember, it's all people, people, people. People become leaders, they choose to be leaders, and they choose to lead people and leave a legacy behind. So very grateful to you for having started this process. And today we are doing our first show and would love to do a 9 episode or a 13 episode and teach the world what we learned from our gurus on leadership and how to be the best in terms of reaching out to people, leading people, and teaching them those arts and skills and science to become a great leader. So, these are my opening remarks and would love to share more and would love to receive more during this conversation today.
Great. Thank you, Coach Harish. If I may add, we would love to have leaders who followers would love to follow, right? So as you build your leadership skills, as you learn, is to be able to have followers who would love to follow you where you're going. And Coach Harish, I've been reading so many books, and as you shared that we're going to talk about many different gurus that we would have learned from. And one of my guru, obviously, is John Maxwell. And John Maxwell and many others said that the most difficult person to lead is yourself. And what are your thoughts around this? So why do they say this? And what do you think?
I agree with you 100%. I am also happy to have John Maxwell as my guru, apart from Brad Sugars, John Maxwell, Les Brown, and Bob Proctor and Marshall Goldsmith as my gurus in this new journey, which I have chosen to teach and learn how to grow leadership in the current scenario. These 10 years have taught me a lot. Now, I would like to emphasize, people have asked me a couple of times, do we have leaders who are born or leaders are made? I would like to share with you, everybody on planet Earth is born to win. And the moment he realizes that he can become a leader who is born to win, he has to look at himself. And as you grow in age, what you learn, what you do, and what you practice is what people are watching. And as you speak, as people listen to you, they are encouraged to either listen more or stay away. When people are interested to listen more, that means something is being added to them and they would love to learn more. So, if you ask me, I would look at growing yourself first, to discipline yourself, to be aware, and to approve every action that you do because people are watching you. And when you do and get the results you want, people look at you as a leader and start following you to become the person that you are. So, if you ask me, yes, people become leaders by the practices, by the habits, and by the discipline they do to their own life. And it is important for me to speak here. We can all lead. We are all born to lead. It's only those habits that we create in our lifetime. Either we become good to great leaders or we fail to become leaders.
Yep, definitely. You know, in our Toastmasters Club, we speak this every week. Leaders are not born, leaders are made. And I do believe as leaders, if we do want to change and we do want to be better, it's a choice that we get to choose what do we do. And so, if I may add, is that it's our willingness to change. And in John Maxwell Leadership Gold, in one of his books, there's so many leadership books out there, and it's if someone said that they do not know how to be a better leader, that is really truly sad, because there's so many content, there's so many people who are willing to help you to be a better leader, and if you're not taking those choices or make those choices, then that's on you. But one of the something that came out, as he was sharing, as John was sharing in his book, about the most toughest person to lead was himself. And when I think back about my experiences as a leader and coming through and learning how to lead a team, and indeed it was about me, as in, how do I lead me? There were so many things that I had to learn and change, things that I was not willing to let go of. And that made it so difficult for me, because I didn't want to let doing certain things. And so when I understood myself, and I came to understand that I wasn't a person that usually give compliments. I'm not a person who will tell somebody awesome job, and the affirmation that the team may need. And I think as a leader, that was one of my toughest area that I had to work on for myself, to lead in that area, that I need to give the team what they need, and those who are working alongside me wants to hear well done. They want to hear words of affirmation. And in my mind, I'm thinking, they understand me, they know that I am not like that, and I'm not a person who will come and give you a tap on the back and tell you all these great things and all of that. And so I thought to myself, as a leader, they would understand. I think that was one of the area that I would have failed at as a leader, and in leading myself. And so understanding it, it made a choice. I had to make that choice there, knowing that this is what they need. Am I willing to let go of myself to say, yes, I'm going to do this, and not do it because I know it's the right thing to do or this is what they need, but doing it genuinely. That I did mean, if I tell Coach Harish, you're doing an awesome job on this thing here, I like this and I like that part of it, that I'm not saying it because I feel like, or I was obligated to say it, but I'm saying it because I genuinely mean it. And I think for me, that was one of my leadership mistake that I've made, that I had to grow from. And I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and every day it's a job of getting better 1% every day. And so, Coach, if you can maybe share maybe one little example of a mistake as a leader for yourself, what you would have experienced and how you've overcome that.
I will share with you 43 years back. I was very young, I was just turning 20. And I was asked, I joined the bank to lead a department. The first time I was told on a Monday morning that from today you will lead this department. And I was just a couple of months old. Yes, I took the bull by the horns, and there's no looking back. There was immediate fear, but my will to learn, my will to participate, my will to ask gave me the edge. And the moment I used this to myself, I started positioning myself to be a leader. And when I positioned myself, my body language changed, my words changed, and the way I used to address myself with people changed. And as a result, in 2.5 years, I was promoted to lead a branch of a bank. Very few people get an opportunity in their life to lead a bank at the age of 23, 24, 25, and that to a nationalized government bank. So I did have my initial few days of a mental challenge. I got over the fear and positioned myself. Let's do it. Let's learn. Let's listen. Let's participate and ask questions. The moment I started asking those questions, everything fell into my lap. People started responding and they started teaching me. And within 6 months, I was ready to go to the next level. Can you believe that if that happens to a young man just out of college, 1 year into the game of running a business or an enterprise or in a job, being given the opportunity to lead and on the job, the way you learn, because there's a desire. Remember, I must confess, a want becomes a desire if you see an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become the person you need to become. And when you grab that opportunity, you commit time, energy, and mind to listen, learn, and grow. To listen, learn, and grow. And when this happens at a early stage of your life, you choose your path to move up. And people are watching. Remember, the best part of leadership is people are watching you speak, listen, grow, teach, and do. And when they are watching you do that, they are thinking about you. How can they use you as soon as an opportunity comes to lead? Because it is an evolving process. And when they see that thing, that spark in you, it's a spark, I'm telling you. And each of us has that spark, an innate desire to be a leader, a born desire to be a leader. Even your youngest child has a desire to lead. She wants to hold fort and say, I said it. I will do it. I want it. So these words take your mindset into a position that you are ready to lead. And when an opportunity comes to you on your lap, you grab it with both hands and start working more on yourself. And the more you work, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you imbibe this habit of leadership. And as I said, discipline, enthusiasm, positivity, taking people along are all the traits which come into you. And when you start listening to people, they start respecting you and they give you the position. Yes, they look at you as a leader, and then you have followers, and you are moved to that elevated position of let's meet our leader. Shanti is my leader. Let's come and meet my leader. She will help us, guide us, and take us through these challenges which we have. That's how people grow. And the other side of it is when people don't grab that opportunity, they become fearful. They become fearful and do not accept that opportunity, do not accept that challenge. They don't move up. And that's the end of the story. And they go, as we say in our action coach parlance, below the line. Blame, excuse, and denial. They blame the government, they blame the people, they blame the river, they blame the water, they blame the road for everything that happens to them. And they're ready for an excuse. So, when we move up, that opportunity moves into your space, you grab of the opportunity, you take ownership, accountability, and responsibility of your life, your words, your thoughts, your actions, and your result. That's moving towards leadership. And once you move on the journey, I must confess, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the journey. I was inspired for all these, and I am more inspired now. Now that I teach leaders how to become good to great, I teach leaders how to remove those bad and ugly from them. I teach leaders how to be disciplined, how to speak, say, and do. Don't move away. How to commit yourself, and your words are your power. That creates a followership, and people are ready to join you on the journey as your followers. And now, your next job is how to create future leaders from those followers. And that is where you move to become good to great and great to a legend. And in this process, you create future leadership who would like to listen, learn, grow, and lead the way you taught them. It's an interesting piece, and I'm so blessed that I speak to people today. It's you who is responsible for every moment of your life, and every minute matters. How you invest on yourself, how you teach your people around you, and how you grow your people is what is you came to planet Earth to show them the way and create future leaders. I'm so happy that I could share this on your platform today about leadership and how we can create leaders, and glad to have learned all this from leadership guru John Maxwell and my other people who have taught me, and today I'm happy to share and teach the people around the world.
Yes. As you were speaking, these are the thoughts that came to my mind. As leaders, how are we holding ourselves to a higher standard? When we think of accountability, the standard of the accountability that we hold for ourselves should be higher than what others are holding us to. And so, if we want to get better, you talk about discipline, and many of us, I see that we start off doing things and then we just fall away as leaders. So, how disciplined are you in following through on things, especially yourself? And we're talking about, the toughest person to lead is yourself, and it starts with you. When you make a decision on something, or when you say you're going to do something, do you keep your words? Your integrity is at check here. How do you come across to others? And one area too that I saw that people, many of us as leaders, think that we are perfect, and we put ourselves up on this pedestal that we're there. But then we look down at others and we think that, okay, we're there to correct, and we're there to remove the speck, I would say, in the person's eye, without looking deep into us to see the log that is in our own eyes that needs to come out. And so it's looking deep into us to see what are the things there that needs to be removed, so that we could become better leaders that people want to follow, and people would love to follow. And we want to see people growing. And some people think that, okay, I need to be maybe the head of the organization, I need to be maybe a manager or supervisor to be a leader. And I want to make it clear that you can lead from any position that you are at. And because leadership is influence, every single day you are influencing someone, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your community, at your work, wherever, you are influencing people. So you are a leader. And as Coach Harish talked about being the example, what is the example you're setting for those people who are looking at you? And I can tell you, people are looking at you, whether they're old or young, they are looking at you, what you're doing. And some of them that holds you really high, and they see you do certain things, they will say, oh well, Coach Harish can do this, so maybe it's the right thing to do, and they go do it too. So you need to be careful. What's the standard you're setting, that those who really look up to you, they want to follow the same example. And what is the example you're setting? So look deep into you as you think about leading yourself. What are those barriers? What are those mental blocks? What are those things that are hindering you from being great, right? And not just good, but great, about excellence in your leadership. And if I may ask Coach Harish one more question, is that when we think of leaders, we think of people who have good listening skills. I've been listening to many other leaders, and I'm in conversation with some of them too. And you find that you're saying things, and they're just not getting you. They didn't listen to understand. And this is a question that we need to ask all of ourselves: is that, do we listen to understand, or do we listen so that others can understand us? So is it about listening to understand or to be understood? And the listening skills are so lacking in so many people. And you think that, okay, they're great leaders, they understand, they're hearing what I'm saying. And I personally, before Coach Harish share, I will share this, that personally, that for me, that was one area as a leader that I was, if you were to rate me, I may be a 2 out of a 10 in my listening. And it was an area that I had to work really hard, because sometimes if I'm in a conversation with someone and they said they're talking and it's not something that really interests me, my mind gone somewhere else and I'm thinking something else, and they're talking and I'm totally zone out from what they're speaking about, because it's just not interesting. And so even if I'm sitting in a conference or somewhere and the topic, whatever, it's not interesting, I'm thinking something else. I gone somewhere else, solving some other problem in my head, or preparing something else in my head, and I gone there. But as a leader, that's one of the major, I would say, block that I see in leaders. They don't listen properly. They don't listen to their people, to listen to understand instead of wanting to be understood. Is it about you, only what you have to say? Are you open? Do you have this openness, or where people can come and share, and you're here and you're listening to understand, not to respond, right? And so, Coach, tell me about your thoughts on leaders and their listening skills.
Before I speak about the power of listening, I would like to address that as a person, you need to up your skills, up your standards, and up your strategy every day to become a better person than you were yesterday. So when people say you got to work harder on yourself than you ever did on your job or your profession in life, they are right. Now, as far as the power of listening is concerned, listening is directly related to respect. Listening is directly related to respect. When you respect a person, you lend your ears and eyes to that person. And those people who do not listen either to their peers, fellows, or juniors, they are committing a great mistake in life. Because if you do not give respect to people, especially your juniors, your colleagues, and don't listen to them and keep saying, I know, come later, I don't have time. Inside in their heart, you are losing respect. I must share with you. If you are a leader, 75% of you has to listen, and 25% of you has to speak. It's a 2 is to 1 ratio, 2 ears and 1 mouth. So the power of listening helps you, A, to understand and come down to the level of the person who is speaking. When you come down, you get respect for life, especially from people who work for you, especially from people who want to learn from you. And when you listen, you have the power to respond and not to speak otherwise. Most often, people will speak than listen, which is not the sign of a true leader. So, leaders are great listeners, that goes without saying, and they get respect, and it is in their integrity that they build trust in people. Trust is a key word with people, remember. When you listen to people, you are giving them your time. And when they listen and you respond, they know the value of the time which you have given by respecting them. And I must share with you in the last 40 years, I've learned only one thing. The more you listen, the better you become. Because you would know only your part of the story. And you have not given time to listen the other person's perspective, his thought process. Which way is he moving? And why is he moving the way he's moving? So if you ask me, the crux of leadership is all about listening and then either or responding to what you listened, not what you were prepared before meeting that person. So, this is one area which builds a bond, which builds that relationship, which builds that power that people respect you for life. So, my take is be a good listener, and then you don't need to form an opinion. Just respond to what you listened and give the person the right to speak the truth. And when you listen in that manner, your actions will show that you respect him and he is speaking the truth, and you're responding to that, and you're taking the right decision. And when you make the right decision, the person is happy, and this trust is being built because you gave him an opportunity to speak. And as leaders, it is desired that you give them the time and the eyes and ears to listen and be focused when he's giving his 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. Don't do 3 things at a time and say, yes, 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 I heard you. No. I listen to you and I will respond today by the end of the day, and I will satisfy what you wanted through what you spoke. It's a great power, Shanti, and I must confess, leaders need to develop this hunger to listen, not hunger to speak. Be the last to speak after you have heard, listened to your people, your tribe, and to the community you serve. Don't be in a hurry to give them before you listen to them. That's your power. That's your power.
Well said, Coach Harish. As you spoke, I thought of Brian Tracy, who said that listening builds trust. The foundation of all this for a lasting relationship is about building trust. And so the more you listen, you'll build trust in your people, and they would want to confide in you with things, and they know that you're a leader who cares, right? And you're interested in hearing from them. For me, it was as I learned that in my leadership journey, it was developing that listening skill. So when I in a conversation now, what I do is that if my mind goes wandering, I catch myself quick and pull myself back, Shanti, focus, listen to a person. And sometimes for me, I look at them straight in their face so that I can keep my attention here and don't sway off. But, becoming a coach a few years back, that was something that as a coach, you had to learn to listen, because it's not about you. It's about hearing what your clients are speaking, and being able to come maybe with the right questions to help them move from where they're at. And so if you aren't listening to understand what they're saying, to really see the underlying problem that is there, you might just miss it. And so listening is so keen and so important as leaders. You want to get from your people that what's in them. And so if they see that you're not interested in hearing from them, they might keep all the good ideas, and they might take it somewhere else. But you want to know that your people can connect with you, and for you to do that is about giving them that space where there's no judgment. There isn't there's a space of just being free, that you can talk, and someone who is interested in hearing. And by doing this too, it improves your organization. As others start to learn how to listen to one another, you will be able to actually build the communication level in that organization, because people are listening. So I know that we're coming to the
I
end.
want to share with you here
Yeah, sure.
the true attributes of a leader, the power of a leader. I look at it, number one, he has to be a good and a great listener. He should not be opinionated from hearsay. He should listen and make a decision and communicate that decision to the person to whom he listened. Number two, when you lend your ears and eyes with respect, the truth will always prevail. And you cannot hide under any veil or a garb that the truth does not come out. So leaders need to be above that space. And when people are looking at you 24 by 7, they are following you. Remember, all your actions during the day, during the night, during the morning, and every single day are being watched. And if you are going better and better every day, people will bring into their life and say, my leader taught me this. And that's a lot of joy and pride. And when people are happy to learn from their leaders, they are growing. and they are going to grow leaps and bounds. And as you grow, you create a team of people who are ready to step into your shoes and grow, whether it's your organization or your business or your profession. So I must confess, leadership is all about listening, and happy to share more about leadership in our next episode. We'll pick up another point that leaders need to create a common goal, a common objective with the team so that they can reach beyond boundaries, beyond destinations, and reach their Mount Everest together. So that's how I look at it. And I feel that we need to keep sharing our thoughts. And I'm reminded of John Maxwell: everything rises and falls on leadership. So it's all about leadership, and leaders are created, and leaders are people who have some great habits, who have people following them, watching them, and inside there's a desire to become the person that you are as their leader.
So we're come to the end of the program for today. However, yes, the toughest person to lead is yourself. And it starts with you. It's a choice to get better, a choice to work harder on yourself, as Jim Rohn says. Work hard on you, and the more you get better, I can tell you honestly, the people around you starts to get better. And so work on you as we talk about it today. Develop your listening skills, and join us next week as we talk more on leadership and little nuggets that you can take out from this session. Just don't listen, but go put it into practice. See where you need help, who can help you, what you need to do, and go do it. And you will see amazing results by starting to lead yourself. So work harder on you. For things to change, you must change. And you need to
And
realize that.
believe in yourself.
Yep.
Believe in yourself, and what you think is what you become. So today, promise yourself to become a good, better, and a great listener. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Harish. And we'll see you all next week, same time, 12:30 p.m. Guyana time and 10 p.m. India time. All the
Thank you.
best. Do post your questions too in the chat or in any of the platform you're on right now. Post any questions that you would like for us to comment on or to be able to, talk more about, or you'd like to hear our opinions, our perspective on that particular area. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.